Hello, everyone, and thank you so much for joining in ORCS another podcast. This session is going to be focusing on research scholars who are pursuing their PhD abroad and pursue their undergraduate studies and postgraduate studies from India. Today we have Ms. Maanasi Mahalingam, who is a PhD candidate at the University of Western Australia and Lions Eye Institute. Thank you so much for joining us, Manasi. Before I begin, I request you to share your details about your undergraduate studies, and maybe from there we'll take it further. Over to you, Manasi.
Yeah, hi, Dr. Gopi. Nice to meet you again after some long time. Yeah, actually, you're doing a great job, especially by recording these podcasts. And I mean, starting from this session to be working on mostly PhD students. I hope this would be a great platform for the aspiring researchers, like who has an interest in pursuing their career as a research, but don't know how to proceed. So I think these podcasts will help them. So to brief about my optometry career, I started as every student, I also aspired to do MBBS after my 12th standard. I was so passionate to do MBBS, but because of my 12th cutoff, I couldn't land properly in MBBS. But I got BDS counseling. I think even this would be very common among optometry students who started to do optometry. Uh, I felt, my dad and mom worked in an institution for more than 25 years, because of whom I came to know about this course, optometry, and also the renowned place in High School of Optometry. Before that, I had no clue about the course because I was more determined to do the medicine. So once I entered optometry, initially I had no interest because as every student, I had no clue what the course is about. So the first 2 years were like Greek and Latin for me. But when I was given an opportunity to be as a clinical optometrist, so I had the opportunity to go for. I mean, our batch was the last BITS associated affiliated batch. So we had the opportunity to go for the clinics from the first year. So in the first year, we had 1 day of clinics and 2 days in the second year, 3 days in the third year, and the entire internship in the hospital clinics. So my interest in optometry was triggered by some of my seniors. So I would like to mention Miss Melba, who with whom I attended my first posting as a clinical optometrist. So the first posting was to how to communicate with the patient. So from there, the optometry interest actually was provoked inside me, and and so on. So it's a whole lot story. And from I got a specific interest in diagnostics and research from my third year, after which so I from third year I came to know that clinics is actually my interest. So because of which I loved my internship thoroughly. So the 1 year was my best days of my life, where I could actually deal with patients. So that is where I found the clinics is my actual thing, because it makes me feel alive. But the way I landed in research is that when I was given an opportunity to do an undergraduate research, initially I felt extremely bored to do the literature review and those stuffs. But I was working on optic neuritis in an hospital population. So my group were trying to understand the clinical profile of optic neuritis. Initially, it was like extremely boring because I didn't like to read the literature search, but I actually loved the statistics. I love maths from my school days, so I was more interested in doing the statistics, especially the descriptive one. So that actually kindled my interest in research. I never thought I would land here in back in undergraduation, but after completing my UG, I got an opportunity to do my master's. So I chose the area of interest. I mean, the area of interest was actually ophthalmic diagnostics for me. When we were given chance to do, I mean, I was lucky enough to be a student of Allied School of Optometry, because the coursework was completely structured and the internship was well more structured. I got an opportunity to have attended ophthalmic diagnostics. So I was more interested in retinal diagnostics. So when I was posted in OCT, I actually we must be learning that retina has thin layers. But when I actually saw the patient's scan examined by the OCT, I was literally fascinated to see those thin layers. So from where the interest of OCT actually got imbibed on me, I would like to also thank Miss Girija here because she was the one who literally, I mean, provoked the interest of ophthalmic diagnostics, especially OCT and OCTA. And also, I had more interest in low vision because of Dr. Sarika. Because I could, when I attended low vision clinic, I could, I mean, Dr. Gopi can relate to this. It had a personal, emotional connect with the patients when they can actually share their personal stories because of losing their vision. So at that time, I actually felt what is the role of an optometrist as an eye care practitioner. So my areas of research to be succinct are the ophthalmic diagnostics, especially the retinal thing, and the low vision. So these things helped me landed in post-graduation project. So in my post-graduation, I was mentored by Dr. Parveen Sen. She's the senior most retinal ophthalmologist. I was lucky enough to get the same topic which I had in my mind, which is the OCT and OCTA. So, but unfortunately, COVID has an unexpected arrival of Mr. COVID came in. I couldn't say it's unfortunate because I had a lot of time preparing my thesis and doing image analysis. And that is where my area of interest bloomed in retinal diagnostics. And also, I approached Dr. Sarika whether I could do some research in low vision because I mean the interest in research from there actually grown inside me. So I thought I should write two papers during my masters because we don't get the actual first authorship apart from our masters. So I thought I should approach her because low vision was also my area of interest. And she suggested me, she also gave me some tasks before even believing in me. So I did a quick literature search, got some permission from other officials whether to proceed with writing two publications. And I was able to published two papers from my master's. One is from my thesis, and other is from the low vision. And that is where I found that both that I have interest in both clinics and research. And then after completing my post graduation, I worked as a research volunteer. Because after COVID, we couldn't find any jobs at that specific time, especially in research. So I thought I should volunteer. And I was lucky enough to work under Dr. Rajiv Raman and Dr. Sarika ma'am again with the data collection for another research project. So, and then after which I worked in Aravind Eye Hospital. There I was again working as a clinical diagnostics head, and I was also taking care of optometry fellowship students. And also, so I also worked. I was fortunate enough to work with Dr. Anand Rajendran. He's the head retina department HOD. He helped me, he actually believed in me and gave me some projects where again it landed in publications. And so that is and then I worked again as a project manager in Shankar Netralia before coming here. So this is the entire optometry career of mine, a very small one.
Yeah, that's nice to see how you projected being a very basic clinical activity that interested you to take up uh, either like both the of like diagnostics and the low vision care. And very nice to hear that you had options of publications, opportunities to publish your work during your master's work thesis, and how you ended up in research. As like I'm very interested to know how many times did you apply PhD questions before you getting accepted, so that I will take the further questions later after your answer this.
Yeah, actually, yeah, that's a nice question, but I would say it's more like 50, more than 50 times, 50. I mean, I got so much rejections. I have been trying to apply PhD immediately after my master's, but at that time I didn't have publication because I was working, I was writing manuscripts. So yeah, it is more than 50 times. It was initially frustrating. I thought I should even leave that PhD hunt, but yeah, it's quite a I mean, so quite a lot of times.
Yeah, what were the key challenges you faced while drafting your PhD application process, or can you share some points on that?
Yeah, actually, the PhD application is that. So, in my point of view, in my areas of interest, especially the diagnostics, I think it was not directly applying the application form. I would rather suggest to approach a supervisor. That is how I did. So, what I did was, I took after completing my master's, I came to know that research is going to be my future and my career. So, I thought I should I took a handful list of researchers who has my areas of interest. So who worked on OCTA, visual fields, and all those. And also I was also having low vision as my secondary area of interest. So I just took the researchers, and I felt the most challenging is that mailing the supervisors. So initially I don't know how to mail a person like professionally. And then I just started randomly trying with the help of seniors and other mentors. So I would like to mention Dr. Rizwana here because she helped me how actually to approach a person in while contacting for PhD. So I just drafted a small mail body. I kept common for everyone. I'll be just changing the area of interest, either it is diagnostics or low vision, and then about so it will be like a small brief about me, a small statement of purpose in the mail body itself, and then I'll be attaching my CV. So again, drafting a proper CV, and it should be brief and proper because the supervisors don't have much time to sit and read 10 pages along with your mail body. So I suggest to have, so those are the challenges which I had in drafting a proper CV and SOP. Yep.
Okay, so I believe you recently moved to Australia for your PhD studies. So I have two questions on this. Like, how are you adjusting to in Australia as an international student, and continuing that, if you can answer on key initial challenges which you are facing during your PhD program, can you elaborate on those two aspects?
Yeah, actually, it was a very tough decision to leave the family and come back here all alone to do PhD. But it's actually worth it. I would say initially it was very difficult to adjust to the environment, but luckily I had my known classmates and seniors over here. And my supervisor is also Professor Alison McKendrick is also super friendly. Immediately I landed here, I just paid. I reached Perth, and the first thing she mentioned was it will be Greek and Latin, and everything will be new for you, but it's supernatural, so kindly don't worry. So those words are still helping me survive here. And in the way of, in the way of doing research, the challenges I face here after coming here is that the way of writing, our Indian English is completely different from here. So I think initially I found it difficult, but I'm just 6 months into my PhD, so I feel like I'm completely evolving. So it is not that challenging, but it can be done. Yep.
Okay, so can you describe what you are trying to understand as your PhD work, and what motivated you to take the topic?
Yeah, actually, I think I couldn't say much about it because I just started my project. I'll be working on psychophysics in glaucoma, and my supervisor is completely based on glaucoma. So I chose this topic because again, it has of the ocular diagnostics. So again, I already had a good experience, good knowledge in retinal. So I thought I should try in glaucoma as well, so that I have a brief. I have a wide area of focus when I try to proceed with my career. And also psychophysics is completely new to me. I'm trying to understand. So I chose this topic because I should learn something new, and I should not repeat the same thing which I had done in my UG and PG. So I thought I should try something new but under the same topic, ocular diagnostics. Yeah.
Okay, I have seen you as a teacher teaching undergraduate students. Also at Aravind, you were mentoring like students. So as an undergraduate student, what do you think some of the key research skills they should develop so that they can move forward in terms of masters as well as PhD studies?
Yeah, one thing I felt the current undergraduate students must know is that they should develop proper writing skills, especially not only in the sake of research, but a basic writing skill, the scientific writing, I could say clearly, and also the basic statistics. They should either know to take, to calculate the mean, median, and those basic descriptive statistics should be known. I feel that the writing practice which we got in our undergraduation was really good. I would suggest the undergraduate students to start writing blogs as the first thing. So I think Vision Science Academy and many other organizations conduct these blog competitions. So these writing skill, I mean, those blogs will be reviewed by a reviewer. So I think they will just get a brief of how scientific writing works. And then I would also suggest them to write case reports. So case reports, and then slowly taking the retrospective data with their permission from their mentors. And then so which will actually trigger help them to know whether they have the proper interest in research. So I would suggest them to learn and evolve with their scientific writing skills in their undergraduate itself. They don't, I mean, we don't get a proper time to learn those things in our master's and PhD. It should already be known in undergraduation.
Okay, so I'm I'm going to ask you two important questions. So as a research scholar, evolving research scholar for the last couple of years, what qualities you have obtained it to be a successful research scholar, and what are the resources or opportunities should a research scholar look for to enhance their profile in terms of research as well as the public domain in the public domain?
Yeah, that's quite a tricky question. The skills which I obtained being, I mean, in the process of my research journey is the process of writing, because when I go back and look at my case reports and the thesis which I done in my undergraduation, and now it looks super funny to read. But yes, we keep evolving. So the writing skill, and I'm still learning. I'm not a perfect researcher still yet. So the writing skill and also the statistics. So I love statistics, but I thought during my master's I thought everything is done. Yeah, I have known ample amount of statistics, but no, so statistics is like a huge sea. I mean, it's a huge ocean of knowledge to be obtained. So I'm just evolving. And also, I would say the process of publishing. So initially, we used to say we don't know anything about publications while we are doing undergraduation, but I understood the importance of publication when I started applying PhD. So yeah, so those are the skills and the opportunities to look for is to learn programming. For example, I learned the importance of using R. I mean, we just stuck to SPSS for quite a long time, but there are more other resources which would be more helpful than SPSS. So I would suggest to learn the basic programming skills. It again depends on the areas of interest. So if you're going to work on basically the image analysis, and so in my master's I was working on image analysis as well. So because of which I could learn the image analysis software. I was using ImageJ as well as PG, both are the same, and also Angio tool when I worked in Aravind. So it again depends on the areas of interest. So I suggest to read papers, and also the one more skill that I would suggest for the undergraduate and as well as the postgraduate is to read as many as research papers as possible, especially the statistics, the statistics and the way they interpret the results. Because we just read the abstract and we just move on, and we don't also read the discussion. I mean, discussion is also not much required, but I would suggest to give importance to statistics and see how the statistics actually works and how they interpret the results. So these are the skills which I learned by evolving as a researcher.
So, so being an undergraduate or a research scholar, having skills of doing a literature mining and writing like completely writing a sentence without grammatical or syntax errors, and trying to push your work maybe in a public forum or a conference or as a publication, which can help definitely in terms of getting a PhD portion internationally under a good supervisor. That's what I understand from your entire crux of
Yeah.
information. So moving on to last couple of questions. So this might be a very early question. What are your career goals after completing your PhD? I know you are in a very early phase. Maybe you can give us some thoughts from your like plans.
Yeah, I would like to suggest a key person, Dr. Krishna Kumar sir, who actually tells to think about like what are you gonna do after 5 years. So he usually does for every batch, I guess. So I usually write what I should be there after 5 years. So before 3 to 4 years, I thought I should do PhD, and with my I couldn't say it's hard work with my dedication and with my sincerity. I thought I reached the place where I wanted to be. So similarly, I am planning to land in academia as well as research, supervising students. So those would be my career, future in my future. Not very sure. Hopefully, I will land there.
Yeah, thank you for bringing Dr. KK here, because I do still ask my students over here where I work as an research associate. Tell me what you will do after 2 years, after 5 years, and even today I have been following the same steps. By I had a clear mindset. Okay, by after 10 years of my undergraduate, I should be completing my PhD, and fortunately, I completed my PhD after exactly 10 years, and I have five years of plans after this. So thanks for bringing Dr. KK. So if you have any more points to add, maybe you can, if you wish, you can add. Otherwise, we can. Uh, say close this session, Manasi. If you have any points, please add it.
Yeah, yeah, I had significant mentors in my life. Actually, I couldn't list all of them, but yes, in undergraduate, you couldn't decide whether either to take clinics or research. I think most of the students will have this dilemma. But luckily, I could land in a place where I could do both, where I could do the clinical, that is the data collection, as well as to work in the research. So I like clinics because it makes me feel alive. And I would also like to mention my mentor, Mr. Praveen Kumar, who actually triggered me the interest in clinics. So which made me land here to take up both clinics as well as the research. I would suggest the undergraduate optometry students to do what they like and not to run towards run towards the whole what the society is already doing. So it doesn't mean that everyone around you is doing masters or PhD. It doesn't mean that you also have to do it unless and until you have a complete interest in that. I feel that everyone is doing masters out of either any compulsion, but no, but please don't take any decision based on the people around you. Take decision based on your own interest. Landing up in clinics is also no way less than landing in research. So even we can also bloom as a proper clinician as well as a proper researcher. Until it lies completely in your mind, whatever you wanted to land up in. It is not always that doing PhD and doing publishing papers is not always the bigger thing. You can also be a proper and a good clinician who makes changes in people's lives.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you, Manasi. I really like the way you appreciated your mentors and seniors as well as their names, how important they are in terms of molding you up and bringing your career. Thank you, Manasi, for joining us today, and we'll all see you in another podcast. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Gopi, for making me a part of this beautiful thing. I would like to be a part of it as well in the future.
Thank you.
Thank you.